Where did I have it brought up? Okay, there we go. So this one's new to the. We haven't watched this channel yet. So this is Scandy Stories. And it says Gypsy Rose going back to prison while pregnant? ? Oh hell! Let's give it a go. I'm gonna shrink myself down. There she is, and let's start this bad boy. I hope you guys are ready for this. I hope y'all are ready for this. Let's go. Mama Bear, thank you. Been watching your videos. Great commentary. Appreciate that. And by the way, if you don't like the commentary, you don't have to leave a comment saying you don't like it. You could just watch something else.
You what?
This isn't the airport. You don't have to announce your departure. You don't have to tell me that you hate me and that you wish I wouldn't talk. You can just move on with your life. Nobody cares. I promise you, nobody cares. But to cut their hair off, oh my God. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Hey, I'm thinking about spending the night, but I'm just gonna give myself a quick little trim.
The hell? Oh man, that is crazy as hell. Steph Case Files, so good to see you. Y'all make sure you give her a follow. Did you get to 80,000 yet? 78.3, y'all. Get her to 80,000. We gotta get to her 100,000. Really, give her a follow. She's amazing. Thanks for the bears, y'all. Hit the follow button if you're new. TikTok, my name's Patrick. YouTube, thumbs up right now. We need 100 likes. And hit the subscribe button if you're new. TikTok, by the way, if you want to watch these videos, like actually see the videos we're watching also, YouTube, The Mystery Project. That's the name of the channel, The Mystery Project on YouTube. Search it, subscribe, come on in, let's go. She didn't get stuck in a dryer. Oh, man, I feel like, man, can you imagine? That might not be too far off. Oh, hell, you could tell that was a lie. Man. He's like, have you had any idea? Are you been trying to reach out to Ken? She's over there like this. Who? What's his face? Oh, you can say his name. Ken. Ken? Who's Ken? The hell? Shit, where did I throw that? Oh, it's right over here. Done threw my mouse pad too far. That is crazy as hell. Man, you are crazy as hell saying that on your documentary and expecting that relationship to work. You flat out said he can't rose your gypsy to your sister with all them cameras around. Man, that is crazy as hell. Oh my God. I still haven't been able to get my gypsy all rosed up. Holy hell. Man. Pregnant. She needed to do that aspirin trick. Y'all, you heard about that one? That's the one way that you never get pregnant. And it's you take an aspirin. You guys heard this? You put the aspirin like right in between your knees and you don't let that shit fall. Oh, Lord. Anyways, Aaliyah, thank you so much. So many damn bears. We're coming in strong. We're coming in strong. We got like 20 left. Thank you, thank you. Nurses, chime in on this one. I thought that there was like no way to have a false positive on those, but apparently there is, but it's ultra rare, and it has to do with like certain medications that you can take and like things that aren't very common for like a 30-something-year-old lady. Yeah, ultra rare menopause, during menopause, yeah. I mean, yeah. Dang, that is crazy as hell, though, isn't it? By the way, TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. Come over to YouTube if you want to watch the videos with us. The Mystery Project on YouTube. That's the name of the channel. It's pinned up here. Come on, y'all. Let's keep going. This is an interesting video. This one is Scandy Stories on YouTube. So she's pinned down in the description. Y'all show her some love. Go subscribe. All right, let's keep going.
Their way because Louis.
Where they start going, oh, hell no. You must be crazy. By the way, Desiree, thank you for the Cash App. Desiree coming in hot. Thank you so much. Oh, y'all, the hauntedSide.com. It's fixed. You can find the other one, Laura. It's on there for sure now. The hauntedSide.com. You guys go check it out. TikTok, hit the follow button if you're new here. My name's Patrick. Thank you. If you like true crime, we're live every night. Y'all hit me with those donuts so that TikTok will keep sharing the stream out because they do not like true crime creators. It's hard as hell to get them to, because they hear all these words and they're like, you can't talk about that even though you're grown adults. YouTube, hit this thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. Y'all, we're live on YouTube and you can actually see the videos. So come on over, The Mystery Project on YouTube, The Mystery Project. Search that, find the channel, subscribe. We're live right now. And we got a few more videos to watch after this, so let's go.
Bites her in the ass.
Thanks for the donuts, y'all. We're going to hit it. We're almost halfway there. Come on.
Especially